My ex-boyfriend was too pathetic to dump me properly, so I showed him what rejection actually looks like. Josh had been too busy to text me back for 2 weeks, too busy to return calls, too busy for our anniversary dinner, but somehow not too busy to post Instagram stories of him at Topgolf with the boys every single night. I should have taken the hint when he started leaving me on red for days, when our FaceTime calls went from nightly to weekly to non-existent, when he stopped saying, "I love you" back and just responded with thumbs up emojis like I was his mom asking if he ate lunch, but I kept making excuses. He's stressed about work, I told my friends while watching him live his best life on social media without me. He's just going through something, I convinced myself, while he was clearly going through everything except our relationship. The wake-up call came when my roommate Megan showed me his Hinge profile during our Thursday wine night, active 3 hours ago, looking for something real this time. No games, no drama. The audacity was breathtaking. This man was actively shopping for my replacement while I was over here defending his silence to anyone who'd listen. His profile had new photos I'd never seen, including one from last weekend when he told me he was staying in to catch up on work. He was at some rooftop bar downtown, living it up. I screenshotted everything and drove to his apartment that night, my hands shaking the entire way. When I confronted him with the evidence, he didn't even have the decency to look embarrassed. Just shrugged like I'd caught him leaving dishes in the sink instead of actively shopping for my replacement. "I mean, we never made it official," he said, sitting down on his couch like this was just a minor inconvenience. We'd been together 8 months. I had a spare toothbrush in his bathroom. "You're being dramatic," he said, when I pointed out I had a drawer at his place and his mom followed me on Instagram. I walked out, blocked him everywhere, and spent the next month actually enjoying being single again. I went out with friends without checking my phone every 5 minutes. I remembered what it felt like to not walk on eggshells around someone's mood. Then karma handed me the perfect opportunity. My friend Paige works at Teklo, this hot startup Josh had been obsessing over since college. She mentioned they were hiring for a senior developer position, literally his dream job. Here's what Josh never knew. While he was busy playing games, I'd been grinding. Night classes, certifications, building a portfolio that would make most senior developers jealous. Josh knew I worked in tech, but always treated it like my little job compared to his serious career. When I got promoted last year, he said, "That's cool," and changed the subject to fantasy football. I applied that same day and nailed every interview round, got the offer, and started Monday. 3 days later, Paige texted, "Your ex just applied. Should I tell him you work here?" I told her to schedule his interview. Paige arranged for me to sit in on technical interviews as part of my onboarding process. Josh's interview was Thursday at 2 p.m. I wore my best blazer and sat at the conference table with the hiring manager, reviewing his resume like I'd never seen it. At 2:05, Josh walked into the conference room and saw me sitting there. The look on his face was absolutely priceless. His confident smile completely melted off his face as he stood there with his mouth open. "Josh," I said in my most professional voice, extending my hand. "Thank you for your interest in joining our team." He stammered through the worst interview in company history. Every technical question I asked, he fumbled. When I brought up mobile frameworks, he gave answers that were 3 years out of date. The best part was when I asked about challenging projects. Josh described debugging some legacy code that sounded like junior level work, not senior position material. I took detailed notes, nodding along like his mediocre explanation was fascinating. After 45 minutes of watching him crash and burn, our hiring manager asked for my thoughts. "I don't think he'd be a good cultural fit," I said carefully. "He lacks commitment and has trouble with clear communication. Based on his responses, I'm not confident he has the skills we need." 2 weeks later, a text from an unknown number. "Did you seriously cost me that job?" I left him on red and blocked the number. Sometimes the best rejection is just being better than them.